Hi guys, welcome back to the Speak Now era.
I said remember this moment.
How do I even begin this? Like, this video has been in the works, in my mind, in anticipation since mid-2019. Ever since Taylor announced that she would be re-recording her earlier unowned discography, this is the one that I have been most excited for. You guys probably know Speak Now is my favorite Taylor Swift album. It is closely followed by two others, but it takes the cake. And I'm gonna go a little bit into why that is today in this video. Basically, we're just gonna chat all about Speak Now and Taylor's version, the theories, the things we know, my predictions, and of course the vault tracks. By the way, if you guys are watching this and you aren't subscribed, you can fix that down below right now. It's totally free, and I have a fun giveaway planned for when we hit 70k. So make sure you're subscribed and you can be involved in that. If you are subscribed, hi, welcome back. I love you the most. Let's just talk a little bit about the day or the moment that Speak Now Taylor's version was announced. I can pretty confidently say I've never had more notifications in my life, and I love how much you guys know what this album means to me and like how long I've been waiting for this day. To quote my favorite athlete, it really feels like we're all in this together, and it's just been so fun already, just this rollout. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been away on holiday, so I didn't have the time to like sit down and film and react to it at the time when it happened. So thank you for your patience in that, and this feels like the perfect time to share with you guys my reaction to the news.
I've been planning something for a while. And then you know how I love to surprise you with the things that I've been planning. It's just something, it's my love language with you, you know? I plot, I scheme, I plan, and then I get to tell you about it. So I think rather than me like speaking about it, I thought I would just show you. So if you would direct your attention to the back big screen that we have.
So I was at the airport attending the Eras tour via a live stream on my phone, as one does as an international Swiftie every single weekend. And there was just something different about this day. I kept saying to my boyfriend, something is different, something's gonna go on. Naturally, I tuned in for the surprise songs anyway. I think I got the notification that Taylor Nation went live, and I was like, this is serious. That's not something that happens. That was the moment I knew. Thank God he started recording, because I'm so glad I have that captured. Even if posting it to YouTube has resulted in hundreds of hate comments from strangers, it's just a nice memory to have for myself. Something that meant so much to me as a kid and still means so much to me now. I find a lot of joy in that. So it moved me to tears, obviously, and I've pretty much not stopped feeling that excited since it was announced. So Speak Now Taylor's version comes out on the 7th of the 7th, July 7th, just in time for July 9th, obviously. So not only is July 7th and that weekend, you know, really special, but also coming out on the 7th of the 7th, and she will own 7 of her albums. I also love that she announced it on 5/5, like the 5th of the 5th, and I'm hoping we get something on the 6th of the 6th to keep that pattern going. Ideally, I would love to get the track list that day, or even like, you know, the puzzle of it, which will be fun to see what she does for this one after having like the vault scramble and the word search. I don't know where she can go from here, but I can't wait. The album also comes out on National Koi Fish Day, which of all the things we clowned about, I cannot believe that that one was real. There's also the fact that we're getting 6 vault tracks. 6. I'm honestly just so thankful that this has finally been announced, because I was really starting to gaslight myself and being like, no, there weren't clues in the Bejeweled music video. No, like you're making all of this up. And I ended up just deciding we're not getting Speak Now. Like it's not happening. I think I actually said that in a video like a month or two ago. I was like, I've just decided we're not getting it and I'm not gonna think about it, because that means we'll get it faster. So you're welcome, everyone. I'm sure a lot of you will relate to this, but as someone that has grown up listening to Taylor and like been a fan since her first album, my life feels like it's divided into different Taylor Swift eras as well. So I'm so glad that I know that 2023 is like, we're tapering out on midnights and Speak Now TV is coming in. It's just nice to sort of arrange things, you know? Now I know that some of you guys were in Nashville the night that this was announced. What was that like? I cannot even imagine. I've definitely seen comments from some of you guys on my videos saying that you were there and you died. died, but like I need to know more details. Did you like when is the moment that everyone knew what was happening? Was it when the photo came up? Were there inklings beforehand? Like what was the vibe like? I need to know everything. The fact that she played would've, could've, should've. Nashville really won. I'm so sorry if you were only at night 2 because I feel like night 1 and 3 really got the gems. I mean, I'm certainly not one to talk. A, I don't even have international dates yet. B, I had tickets to see her in New Jersey this weekend. Ended up not being able to take my trip that I wanted to, and so sold my tickets. And like did that knowing that something big would happen this weekend. Did I think she would be like announcing a new song and giving us Hits Different and more Lana Del Rey? No, I did not, and that hurts. The girl that I sold them to was so excited, and it just, it made me so happy. Just knew at the end of the day I wanted someone that really loved Taylor to go, and even more than that, I wanted someone that like followed me or that I followed or knew of to go, so that I could like talk to them and like ask them how it was and like directly hear about it. Because if I couldn't give it to a friend, I just wanted it to go to like someone that I could hear from or just like feel the excitement of, if that makes sense. So I'm really glad I got to do that, because it feels like I'm not going, but you know, my spirit will be there somehow. Okay, let's get down to business. Let's discuss this album. Firstly, the album cover. I mean, can we just, what an upgrade. I have always loved the original Speak Now cover. It is stunning, it is beautiful, it is literally a work of art because it's a painting. This, I have thoughts and feelings on the Fearless and Red Taylor's version covers, which maybe I'll share in an unpopular opinions video at some point. But when I saw this cover, oh my God, I've never seen anything more beautiful. She nailed it. It is somehow better than all of the edits that everyone came up with online. A moment to mourn these beautiful images.
In the arms of the angel.
I did love them. They served their purpose, but I'm sorry. This is amazing. I look at these edits that people came up with.
You're good, James. But you're just not good enough. In your honor, a royal flush.
Very first thing I thought of when I saw this album cover is this exact haunted performance.
I have known it all this time, but I never thought I'd live to see it break.
It's just that moody, dark, angsty, cool, messed up hair, and it's everything. Also, definitely the hair from this night. I have to wonder, I'm like, did she take the photo that day? Was that a clue? Some people pointed out that there is a chunk of Taylor's hair that is uncurled or sort of out of place. Now, I didn't notice this before, and now I literally cannot unsee it, so I apologize if this is me exposing you to it. But in all honesty, I actually don't mind it the original way. As someone whose hair really never looks nice and like doesn't stay curled for very long, this is way more realistic to me. And I'm just so thankful that we have the return of the curls at all, because we didn't really get them for Fearless Taylor's version. So to me, this is perfect. But most of all, I feel like this is a perfect evolution and adaptation of the photo, because in this new photo compared to the original, she just looks so much more certain of what she's about to say. You know, she's speaking now in both, but as the 19-year-old that wrote the original album, she's almost a little bit apprehensive or nervous. This time, she's saying it with her chest. She is fully confident, and the growth. I also just love the trend of having no text on the Taylor's versions, on the re-recordings, because it's kind of the opposite of what you would expect. You would think that her name and Taylor's version would be kind of all over it because it's something that she owns now and is really proud of that, and you know, you want to sort of overshadow the previous ones. But this is kind of just the ultimate fuck you, to be like, I know who I am, I know that my fans know who I am, I don't even need to write what this is or who I am on it. The music just speaks for itself. Imagine being Scott Borchetta and Scooter Braun with like what they thought was a great business deal, great investment. Bad day to be a crusty, heinous man named Scott. I'm so sorry. Scott Swift, you're fine. So this being an album that I have so much to say about, I have a couple of ideas on videos I would like to make. If you guys would like to see from me sort of a deep dive into what was going on at the time, what inspired these songs, and all of the important things you need to know before the album comes out, because I just know there are so many new fans since Taylor put out the original Speak Now, and so I thought I could shed some light on what was going on at the time in Taylor's world, what inspired some of these songs, the secret messages, things like that, and kind of give you like a what you need to know before going into Speak Now Taylor's version. So if you would like me to do that, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. I would just love to make more content about this and share some of that knowledge, because I just think it's so much more fun going into an album knowing the history and like kind of the backstory, because then when you guys hear the vault tracks, you'll know, oh my God, this is referring to that. And it's just, you know, it's just more fun. So yeah, let me know. I know I said I would make one about Taylor's unreleased songs, songs, but then I got a channel strike from the recording industry of America for like doing that with Harry's songs, which was really scary. And it's truly not my intention to upset or like break any rules. So I'll have to find the correct sort of avenue and place to do that. But in the meantime, this is something that I definitely can provide. So before we get into my predictions for the vault and features and things like that, let's talk a little bit about why Speak Now is so important to me and why it matters as an album. As you probably know, Speak Now was entirely self-written. Taylor says that she didn't go into it intending for that to be true, which I half believe, because a lot of the criticism she was receiving during the Fearless era in particular was that there's no way this girl is writing the songs on her own. And like, to me, that's kind of a compliment, right? Because they're saying her work is so good that there's no way someone of her age could achieve that. And so she was like, well, I am. Let me prove it to you.
Katie says, who did you write the songs with? I wrote the songs with, I actually wrote all the songs by myself for this record. I didn't have any co-writers. And it didn't really happen on purpose. It just sort of happened to happen that way. Like, I'd get my best ideas at 3 a.m. Arkansas, and I didn't have a co-writer around, so I would just finish it. And then that would happen again in New York, and then that would happen again in Boston, and then that would happen again in Nashville. And it just so happened that the songs that made the cut for the album were the ones that I wrote by myself. So wish me luck.
Now, there was one deluxe track, If This Was a Movie, which had a co-writer. As we've now seen, she has very clearly remedied that fact by shifting it onto Fearless, which doesn't really make sense to me because I'm like, if you were gonna do that, I understand wanting Speak Now Taylor's version to be fully self-written. That's a fun thing to do, but surely you knew that ahead of time, so why not give us that when you released Fearless Taylor's version? Maybe it was a more recent decision, I guess. And I think I said this in my video where I reacted to If This Was a Movie, Taylor's version, but her giving us that and shifting it onto another album, pretending it was never on Speak Now, pretty much guaranteed the fact that Speak Now Taylor's version would be entirely self-written, and now of course she has confirmed that. So in one way I love that. In another way I'm kind of sad because there were some vault tracks and like unreleased songs that I would have loved to be on this album, which now aren't possible. So what makes Speak Now so great? Firstly, of course, it is entirely self-written. To me, that's kind of just a little fun fact, little tidbit, because that's not what makes me so obsessed with this album. It's truly just the songs themselves. It is her most diaristic, storytelling, raw songwriting, for better or for worse. I just really love a song that tells a complete story from beginning to end. If you look at songs like Mine or The Story of Us, where it really walks us through the whole story, even back to December, Speak Now, like it really just takes us on a journey, and that is my favorite kind of storytelling. That's very quintessential to the country genre compared to pop, when we see a little bit less of that. It's maybe a bit more of a theme explored rather than this happened, then this happened, then there's a plot twist, and then this is what happened at the end, you know? And on the line of country music, this album to me is just the perfect blend of country, pop, and a little bit of rock. The drums and the guitars go so hard. Give me bubblegum, glittery gel pen songs, but like throw in a banjo. I also really loved that Speak Now Taylor and these lyrics in these songs were just so unapologetic, and that really captured that part of girlhood and teenage life, especially as a girl. This is a time when we just feel so many things so deeply. Anger, jealousy, rage, love, all of that is explored on this album. Also selfishly, the Speak Now tour is when I met Andrea and we took this horribly 2000s photo, but it's just good memories for me. Okay, so we need to talk about Better Than Revenge. Before I say anything, let me know in the comments below, do you guys think she's changing the lyrics or is she keeping it the same to devalue the old one? Is she gonna modernize it, put a little feminist spin, or are we keeping that nice little sprinkling of misogyny on the album? Personally, here's my take, and I go back and forth about this often, but currently as it stands, I think we are getting an unchanged Better Than Revenge. The reason I say this is because of her caption when announcing Speak Now Taylor's version. Let me use her exact words. Songs that came from this time in my life were marked by their brutal honesty, unfiltered diaristic confessions, and wild wistfulness. She keeps using the word wild. Mark my words, there is gonna be a vault track with the word wild in it. I love this album because it tells a tale of growing up, flailing, flying, and crashing, and living to speak about it. It's the brutal honesty, unfiltered diaristic confessions. Like, those two things to me give me hope. Taylor has never been one to only sing about like the positive experiences in life, and one of the true emotions that we feel is jealousy or hurt or anger, and sometimes that can be directed at someone of our own gender. Especially when you're a teenager and don't know any better yet, you would feel hurt by the girl that is now with your boyfriend. Whether he cheated on you with her or left you for her, that is a painful thing. And because you still have feelings for that person because you've been dating them and in love with them, it's quite normal at that age for those feelings to transfer onto this new girl. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I'm saying as a teenager, that's something we've all felt. Those feelings are ugly, but they are authentic, and I don't think she's going to erase them. It's the same with innocent. Like, to me, those feelings are no longer valid. I don't think she would say that Kanye is still an innocent. That entire song is about forgiving someone who has become the most hideous, awful, hateful, harmful person in the world. And those lyrics absolutely no longer resonate with Taylor, but the entire purpose of what she's doing is to devalue the old original versions, so I think they both have to stay. It will sound weird hearing those lyrics, especially the mattress line in her current day vocals, but I think it would be weirder to hear anything else. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, I guess, but let me know in the comments what you think she's gonna do. And when that day comes, July 7th, when you open up your laptop or your phone to play the album, are you going from Mine or are you going down to Better Than Revenge to find out what she did first? Or do you skip to Vault Tracks? I find that personally offensive because I'm like, you just have to go from start to bottom, but I understand the temptation. I do have a few class assignments for you guys in the comments today. What is your wish list for this album? Not necessarily Vault Tracks per se, but what are some things that exist in the original version that you absolutely need to see on the re-recording? For me, I have 3 top wish lists, I think. Firstly is an unchanged Better Than Revenge.
Better Than Revenge is awesome!
Thank you.
I will completely understand if she does update it. I would kind of feel uncomfortable to release something today with that lyric and, you know, that message. But as someone that grew up just loving that song for the sound and like just the fun vibes of it, the same way we love Speak Now, like it's kind of rude to interrupt someone's wedding and like steal the groom. But she's gonna re-record that and it's fine because we just know it's like a fun little silly moment. I do think a lot of the problem from Better Than Revenge stems from the fact that these are real people. This was a very real moment in time that happened, and like she was not afraid to put Joe Jonas on blast.
That guy's not in my life anymore, unfortunately.
That's not, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's ouch. It's all right. I'm cool. You know what? It's like when I find that person that is right for me, I'm not even going to be able to remember the boy who broke up with me over the phone in 25 seconds when I was 18.
What is the most rebellious thing you did as a teenager?
Probably when I like put Joe Jonas on blast on your show. That was too much. We laugh about it now,
Oh,
but
that's
it's still,
good.
that was some
Yeah.
mouthy,
Yeah.
just
All right.
some teenage stuff.
Let us not forget that Better Than Revenge is a reply song to the Jonas Brothers writing Much Better. Like, he started it. Well, I guess she kind of started it with Forever and Always, but still, he really upped the ante. The entire chorus of that song is just Joe telling Taylor, well, my new girlfriend is much better than you. I don't know how she didn't write Better Than Revenge about Joe. I mean, I would have killed him. After seeing the Jonas Brothers play Much Better live in Vegas last year, if I ever get to see Better Than Revenge live, my life will be complete. I definitely can see a world where Taylor releases it as it is and puts out a statement, kind of like what she said back in the day, essentially being like, when you're a kid, you think someone can take someone from you and that's not possible. They wanted to leave, and expressing that it is simply an outdated view, but it is how she felt in that moment, which I think is valid. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Give us the original version, but give the proceeds to Camille Bell. She deserves it. That was such a long story, but the second thing on my wish list is in The Story of Us, when she sings, I've never heard silence quite this loud. The way she sings loud,
I've never heard silence quite this loud.
that just scratches my brain in the best way, and I need her to do it again. Thirdly, I think this is pretty obvious and pretty common throughout all of us, but the last kiss breath.
I hope the sun shines and it's a beautiful day.
This is a very interesting thing to think about, re-recording such emotional, personal songs that at the time you felt so deeply and now, you know, maybe no longer relate to, but you have to somehow recapture that emotion. I think she did a good job with that in Fearless and Red, but this is one that has almost higher stakes. But if there's one thing about Taylor Swift, I think she is very keenly aware of what her fans want. I mean, look at All Too Well 10-minute version and the Snow on the Beach with Morlana, which she just announced. So I do think she sees the things that we say online and like things that we are looking for specifically in that re-recording. If she has to fake a quivering little breath intake of air, she can do that. All right, let's talk about Vault Tracks. So we know we're getting 6 on Speak Now, which is the same as Fearless. Red had 10, and it's hard for me not to feel a little bit bitter, but we all know Red is her baby. I get it, it's fine. One of the great things about her Spotify spontaneous random release of generous songs recently when she gave us Eyes Open and Safe and Sound is that these are songs that we may have earlier theorized to be vault tracks, and that has now opened up 2 new slots for 2 more songs we can get. So thank you, Taylor. Obviously, the most predicted song that we're going to get as a vault now is Let's Go / Battle. This is the song that I would say we know the most about and, you know, have had for the longest from this era. I've always liked it. It definitely reminds me a lot of Eyes Open and The Story of Us, and I think the only reason it could get excluded from this album is because of how much it sounds like The Story of Us at certain parts. But again, I think Taylor knows everyone really wants it, therefore I think she's quite inclined to put it on the album. So if I had to guess, if I had to put money down, I'm saying we're gonna get Let's Go. Next we have Castles Crumbling. Now when we saw the Bejeweled music video and we had the big castle, I was like, is that a clue? Are you trying to tell me something? Something that I love that Taylor does is when she finds a phrase or word that she loves, we see her use it again, like we did with My Castle Crumbled Overnight. If the version that I remember is correct, it's sort of a younger sound lyrically, at least, compared to a lot of the other tracks that we already have. But again, I could see her including this. Sadly, it looks like we're not going to get Drama Queen, just because clearly she took If This Was a Movie off for a reason. It wasn't self-written, and Drama Queen is also not self-written. It also has co-writing credits with Martin Johnson. So as much as it destroys me, because I love this song so much, it's always stuck in my head, especially when she says, I'm a little over it. And I would have loved to have had an official version of it. Sadly, I don't think it will be on the album. I think there's definitely a chance that it could exist in some capacity someday, even if that's like a deluxe version or, I don't know, a bonus playlist or something. I would love to see that happen, but I don't think it'll be on the album. Less of a specific guess, but I would love to see like a sprinkling of Joe Jonas slander. I just think there is definitely more stories to be told from that time, and I'm certain that she's written them. So I think that would be fun, even if it's not slander. I love every Joe Jonas song. Holy Ground is, you know, my holy Taylor Swift song. So if there's anything like that in the vault, I hope she gives it to us. I think it is definitely likely that she wrote a lot more songs about the VMAs incident at the time. Obviously we have Innocent, and then alluding to it in Back to December with That September Night, The First Time You Ever Saw Me Cry. I think for sure she had more to say about this in the moment. I honestly wonder if there was a Reputation-esque song that she wrote at the time before Innocent maybe, and if so, boy would I love to hear that. I just think that was one of the biggest things that had happened to Taylor publicly, but also just in her own like emotional world at that time as a teenager. I would be surprised if there weren't more songs and more perspectives that she had on that. And honestly, same goes for Back to December. I would love to see more takes on what happened with that relationship and how that all went down. Obviously being Taylor's first big like apology song at the time, it was a really big deal, and I would just love to see some more of that. I also just wonder if there will be a song called Yours. I think it would be really fun to complete the trilogy of having Mine and Ours and then Yours, so we could have Yours, Mine and Ours. No idea if that exists. I haven't seen or read anything about that, but I just think it would be really fun. So a couple of the songs that we know about from this time, obviously we have Let's Go / Battle, Castles Crumbling, Better Off, Bother Me, Foolish One, His Lies, I Can See You, Timeless, Someone Just Told Me, If Kisses Were Wishes, and Wonderful Things. Some of those we know nothing about, some of those we have heard. And we also can't forget that the Fearless Vault tracks, there was a couple in there that were definitely debut tracks and kind of just got like pushed over. So I won't be surprised or upset if there are songs from the Fearless or Red eras that make their way onto the vault, as long as they kind of work for the sound and the vibe of the album. Now also, let us not forget that we have these photos. The Joey King, Taylor Lautner heist that seems to be happening, and we still don't know what this is for. Before the Speak Now announcement came out, people had theorized maybe this is something for Midnights, a vigilante shit music video maybe. I'm pretty sure all along we could safely say that this was going to be something for Speak Now, given the involvement that both of them had. Joey King was in the Mean music video, and Taylor Lautner inspired literal songs on the album. It's so meta to include him in that way. I guess I can't really comment until I've seen it, but I'm just so excited to see whatever that ends up being. The fact that she's wearing the Speak Now tour outfit is just too much for me. I love that she included Joey and Taylor. I just wish she would also include my king, Zach Gilford, because he made one of my lower ranked songs on Speak Now, I'm so sorry, have one of the better music videos, because I just love him so much. Another prediction that I have, or maybe just a wish list want kind of thing, is that when Speak Now Taylor's version is released, so as of July 7th, there will be a second song added to the era set list for Speak Now, which is just funny to be like, wow, a second song, when Evermore and Folklore have like 60 billion. I just think it deserves it. And honestly, I'm willing to lose songs from other eras. I think I already said in my eras tour reaction video which songs I would cut. So you can go to that if you want to see where I would pull some time from. Speak Now obviously deserves more than one song, and Debut deserves at least one song. It is the album that launched her career. It still makes no sense to me. But I can imagine this being the opportunity to add a couple more in, especially if now it will contribute to streams and sales of Taylor's version rather than the stolen one. So let's talk collaborations and features on this album. Being the self-written album, there's definitely a chance that Taylor wants to keep it solo and like no features, but I do think from a marketing perspective, with what we've seen for Fearless and Red, it makes sense to add people in. It just brings extra value to the album. It makes the general public more intrigued to listen in, and I think it just makes sense. It's kind of funny because I get so excited about the idea of features, but then are they ever really my favorite Taylor songs? Not really. I bet you think about me, yes. I'm never sitting there like, ooh, I really want to listen to Run with Ed Sheeran or the Shawn Mendes version of Lover, but I haven't listened to the more Lana Del Rey version of Snow on the Beach yet. I'm waiting till tomorrow to react to it, so maybe that'll be a favorite. You guys know I already love that song. I've been writing for it since day one, so I am keen to hear what that sounds like. So let me know in the comments if you guys do want features, and if so, who do you want them to be? For me, I think the perfect recipe is kind of someone from the era when the original album came out, and then someone that kind of represents the now. So for me, there are kind of three clear choices. The first one is Hayley Williams from Paramore. So Hayley and Taylor were great friends at this time, and Paramore's sound also largely inspired the album. I think it would be perfect to have Hayley on the re-recording, and I also think selfishly it would hopefully give me another sort of rock sounding song that just suits Hayley's vibe so much. For the vault tracks, we already have like Fearless and Debut to explore the countryside, and then 1989 Reputation to explore the really poppy side. So Speak Now is kind of the only spot where a real rock sounding vibe can fit in, because, you know, we never got Karma or Bleachella. So that's what I'm hoping lies within the vaults, and I think Hayley would be the perfect person to bring it out with. On that same level, I think Avril Lavigne just makes sense. Again, it's the rock sound. We know she knows how to rock out.
I like to rock out.
She was everything at that time. We know Taylor was a fan. We know they still respect each other to this day. And I would be so excited for that. I think everyone of my generation of like Gen Z to millennial would be really hyped for that. Now on the more country side, because I am also desperately hoping for a bit of country sound in these vaults, is Miss Kelsey Ballerini. I think I've talked about her on my channel before and how she has really filled the gap of like country Taylor. Like Kelsey really emulates that perfect pop country sound to me that we got from like Fearless to maybe even like Red. They've known each other for a long time. They're both fans of each other's work, and I think it would just be the perfect fit. You could definitely do some Boys Like Girls or like Fall Out Boy even. That sound was really big at the time. Even looking at some of the bands and artists that Taylor brought out on the Speak Now tour, because there were a lot of them, or some of the songs she covered, I would love to see, I've said this before, but a James Taylor Taylor Swift collaboration. I don't know if Speak Now is the home for that. It might be more of a debut situation, but I would combust. Those are my two favorite singers of all time, so that would be incredible. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think will be on there, and who would you love to see? My ideas for merch. The most perfect and obvious thing to me is re-releasing Wonderstruck, but if that's not possible, give us the little charm bracelets that decorated the bottle. Would be so perfect. When we look at today's trends, charm bracelets and necklaces and sort of maximalism jewelry is everywhere right now, so it just makes perfect sense. And she could give us the old charms and then some updated little bits and bobs as well. I think that would be very cute. Also, vintage t-shirts, obviously. My dream is to own the merch that I wanted back when I was a kid but couldn't afford. So if she could re-release some cool old designs, I would love that. Taylor's style during this era was very boho, very farmer's market, antique hunting, you know, it was very cute. So it'd be fun to sort of pay homage to that with the merch in some way. I don't necessarily want like a flower crown headband, but we could think of something. Now I want to finish on my predictions for the response to this album, mostly because I think the re-recording is going to make people realize what a superior album this is. We already saw from the difference in likes between her Red announcement, Fearless announcement, and then Speak Now. I will not be surprised if this breaks the records that Midnight's set. Speak Now is just that bitch, and she always has been. So with this re-recording, I think people are going to realize that Mine is one of her greatest songs. It is one of my favorites for a reason. It sounds great, the lyrics are banging, and it just, it's just so good. I think the real crowd standouts on this album will be Haunted, Dear John, obviously, Sparks Fly, and The Story of Us. Obviously, Long Live and Enchanted and Dear John are already like so special, you know? But I do think that Long Live and Enchanted will be the ones that I cry the most to during my reaction. So, by the way, if you want me to do a full reaction to Speak Now Taylor's version on July 7th, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you again for letting me be so excited about this album. I know that not everyone thinks thinks it's cool or socially acceptable to be like excited and moved by things like this, but I think you guys get it. So that means truly the world to me. Thank you. I'm just thinking about hearing Dear John in 2023 with her current vocals and like current perspective and life experience, and that is just a lot. Well, it is now time to hear from you guys. I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comments below, all of your predictions, all of your guesses and your wish list, and then we can save it and come back to this in, you know, a month's time and see who was right. Thank you guys for being with me here today. I truly love you all. My Instagram and everything will be linked down below. You can chat with me there, let me know what you want to see from me in the upcoming weeks, and until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!
Is this what it feels like to grow up?